Coffee with Sloka. This is a platform where all the stakeholders of Sloka come together, bind together and have sharing their insightful thoughts and opinions. I have with me Mr. Madhav Reddy. He is a parent of Dilip who is in grade 9 and he is an educator by profession.
Namaste.
I have Mr. Dhanraj, parent of Sansha, stage 6. He is a software professional.
Hello.
I have Mrs. Radhika, parent of Kanishka and Kairav, who is an educator. Hi. I have Mr. Srinivas, parent of Ayushi and Aradhya. He is head of HR.
Hello.
I have Mr. Jimmy John, parent of Kevin Max, and he is a event manager.
Hello.
Well, Mrs. Radhika, this question which I want to ask you belongs absolutely to you, because being an educator and as well as a parent of 2 children, so this question you can give a opinion from both the aspects, I feel. So my question to you is, how can schools and educational institutions collaborate with parents to reinforce these values in the younger generation?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for posing this question. And first of all, I would like to thank you and for the entire crew of Sloka International School for choosing this relevant topic. And this is very relevant, that is core value, especially in this 21st century. So the core value is an important aspect, or it's an important component of today's generation, and it reinforces the development and the value which the children need right away. So there is a point of how we have to teach them a value. It's very important. If we ask a small child, can you just tell me an example of some 5 points of values? So they will immediately say politeness, honesty, then good manners, then etc. etc. But somewhere they are lagging. They know the values, but somewhere they are lagging how to put forward those values, and which is very relevant. And there comes the role of life skills. So my suggestion is life skills is very important for the children, and that this is a responsibility for the parents and as well as the education institute to foster the children in life skills. So I came across some articles of Dr. Louise S. Jen, and she's an author and educationist, and she wrote wonderful articles on this life skills. So there are 5 points which she's really instructing all the educators to look forward is. First one is me skills. Me skills is about self-management. So the students or the so-called gens, they have to be self-manage their control, self-emotion, self-awareness, then self-control. So that will come under self-management, and it is very relevant in this 21st century. The next is me skills. So V skills. V skills is all about relationships with everyone. So with the peer groups and with the family members, and through that V relationship, they will inculcate or they will share their ideas, emotions, and it is a wonderful experience for the children to nurture their emotions. And next come under Y skills. So Y skills is, I came across one article recently, in one Western schools they are introducing but why clubs. So why question is exactly relevant in this century, that they have to look forward for questioning why, what is happening in the world. And there is a club called But Why. So in that they will keep asking the questions in the classroom itself, and they will discussing the things. So they will get a lot of informations and their ideas, means every peer children's ideas, and it is very relevant, I guess, and that should be included in our school as well. Then next is will skill, that is can do skill. It's a club called Can Do, and in that club they can do some adventurous things, and through that skills they will learn that adventurous, then the skill of teamwork, collaborations and etc. So this life skill is very important. Means usually we will say honesty is required, then respect is required. So we can include, usually we will do that jam sessions and everything. In that jam session we can include the topic called honesty, and the children should say their own real experience of honesty. If they faced any real life stories of how to become honest. So every children will get an opportunity to tell about that honest kind of stories and real life experience, so that everyone will start thinking about, in this way also we can be honest. So meanwhile they can improve their honest skill in them. So and meanwhile respect, we will talk about respect every time. In school also they know only to, in most of the cases they know only to respect the teachers. They can respect their caretaker, then bus drivers. They can say hello or good morning, or they can say bye. It's a kind of respect we are giving to others also, non-teaching staff I say. And meanwhile there will be one program in my last school, in previous school, while I'm studying. There will be a club called Cleanliness Club, where the children have to clean their cupboards, their sitting areas, their notice boards, their boards and everything. So the thing is, the value of spilling the things or just throwing the waste, so they will learn that value of the caretaker or so-called nannies and all. So if they spill any grains or something, they have to take it and they have to wipe it off. So that skills is required, and somewhere we are lagging that skills nowadays. So my opinion is we have to introduce life skills for the students, as well as parents also have a responsibility for it. They have to educate them what is life skills, what is important. We are just telling about we have to do this, we have to know this value, honesty, responsibility and everything. But while saying that, it won't come, I think it won't work it out. We have to work, we have to demonstrate, we have to practice, make them practice. That's make a huge difference in nurturing the children.
Radhika, I really got impressed with your research on these 3 points, which you said, me, we and why. And it's absolutely important for us to instill these things in our children. In today's scenario, if I talk about it, children have to take care about themselves. We are being very helicopter parent. We are doing that kind of a parenting. So we need to ensure that children learn how to manage themselves. And very beautifully said about we as a teamwork, as a family, as peer learning. They have to learn about all these things. And the question why is really a wonderful thing. Generally, when I speak with my teachers in my school, I would proudly say my teachers celebrate these questions why. They come in the staff room and they discuss about the questions that children ask. Many a times my teachers are not able to answer those questions. They come back, they research about it, and then they go back to the students and answering those things. So it's important, and as a school we have been doing great job, and wonderfully have brought some very beautiful clubs that's going on around. And absolutely, as educators, as a school head, I would definitely take up this feedback, and we would see how we can instill more and more practically the life skills that has to be done. With this quote, I would just like to share, which we had done it already in our school, honesty workshop. We had done it. It was being inspired by this ID company, the company which makes the dosa batter and idli batter. They had done something honesty shop karke. So inspiring with that, we had done one session in our school where children were told that there are stationery and books in one corner. You can see the prices, you can drop the money and you can pick up the things. So it was not necessary someone is there to monitor, to collect money and give them things. And we saw a beautiful result even in our school also, how things have been progressed. So this was one of the practical lessons that I would say, that they have learned about honesty, about integrity, being honest to self even when others are not there. And yes, these are important values. Even in today, the Gen Z should be educated, should be practiced. And one statement you quoted, we need to be a role model for them, and that's the place where Sloka wants to play a key role, educating teachers, educating parents, educating students, that we want to really be a role model for our Gen Z. So if we are expecting things to be happening by students, we should be standing on those points. So I conclude with your point that me, we and why is something we will really take it up as a big transformation from school side as well, to ensure the life skills are instilled in our children. That was a wonderful answer from you, Radhika. Thank you so much.
Well, this question is for you, Mr. Srinivas, and you being from the background of HR, you're talking about the human resource, you're working with the corporates about this HR, their behavior, their appreciation, their entire thing, you look after that. So you get an opportunity to meet different people. So this question, I feel it's absolutely belonging to you. And my question to you is, what role does mentorship or role modeling play in influencing the values and behavior of Gen Z individuals?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving this opportunity. As being a parent of two and someone who's seen generations, like I've seen my father and myself, and then with my kids, I think role play does play a very significant role in mentoring kids of the Gen Z, because today they have a lot of ways and means of getting themselves influenced. But today, being parents and being an institute which inculcates the best practices, I'm sure I personally feel that there are 4 or 5 of these very important qualities that we need to ponder on or think about. One is the authenticity. Now, why is that I say so is without authenticity, or probably once if you say that what you talk, what you make the kids do, if you're not true to that, I think there's a lot of disconnect that happens. The second is how flexible and adaptable we are. In a true sense that today the kids are so demanding these days that you have to change with the time. You have to change with them. And flexibility is one of the key factors that I find, that always being there for them is also one of the key things that I feel does create an impact while playing this or modeling them through role play. The other, also what I feel is mental well-being or mental wellness. This is one area which hardly people touch, because in India we feel that it is a taboo. But what I always felt and resonated with a lot of people is, only if you are mentally well. Mentally well doesn't mean that you have to be sick. It's all about your frame of mind. And if your frame of mind is good, then you will be able to give an appropriate thought process or mentorship to your kids through role play. And the last one I would like to add here is lifelong learning. With kids, it's always a lifelong journey. They teach you every day, you teach them every day. So the journey should continue. And these are the 4 points that I would like to bring it to you, to the notice that this is what mentorship or role play talks about.
Lifelong coach for your kids.
Great, sir. Well said. All the key points over here. The first point which you mentioned about authenticity, it's simple as practice before you preach. That's a statement which we always carry in institution. We always keep telling teachers, and we ourselves as heads, we all ensure that we are on time, so that we can question the students, why are you not on time? We do our homework so that we can question the students why they are not doing. So it's very important that we need to role model whatever we are speaking about it. Second, you also spoke about a very good point, is about the mental wellness, which is less spoken about it. So if we as adults are able to be stable with our minds or with our wellness of our thought process, definitely we can teach our children also on that one. And very important point which you brought us out here is the demand that children have today. It is very important in our busy schedule we give that time for them. So when we give the time, we show that we value them. We show that how we are making a balance between a professional life and a personal life. And absolutely, that's a role modeling you are doing it to your child. So in future, when they grow up, they are able to give back time for you. And one last point which you also mentioned about lifelong learning, this always connects me personally to the Cambridge tells. It's, if you are instilling your children the education, first you be a lifelong learner. So that's one thing which as a statement we always carry as international school, that we all are learners. We all need to unlearn things, relearn things. So that's very important thing. If we show that to our children, definitely we can expect that children will also keep learning, keep unlearning, because we don't know what's the future for them. So they might have learned certain skills, they may have to unlearn that, and they may have to relearn. So I can really connect this with my school 3 years back, 4 years back, when pandemic came. So many teachers were used to only the chalk and talk system. But I saw how teachers left that thing and came back to the digital time. And again, after the COVID is gone, back to the classes again, regular classes, physical classes. Now they are coming with a hybrid learning system, which is a lot of unlearning and relearning things are happening. It's a wonderful points that you have brought out, and of course, yes, this is a message to all of us as parents. Me also being a parent of 3 children, I should ensure that these 4 points are taken for myself also. And I would say all the parents, please ponder on these questions, these points, that where are we standing with these 4 areas. So that's a wonderful session from your side, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Madhav Reddy. So what values do you believe Gen Z should prioritize, and what's the underlying explanation of your choices?
Thank you for your interesting question, ma'am. Gen Z is a generation that has grown up in a world of rapid change, diversity, and uncertainty. They have witnessed the effects of climate change, social movements, and technological innovations on a global scale. Therefore, I think some of the core values that are important to teach Gen Z are: first one, resilience, the ability to cope up with challenges, adapt to changing circumstances, and overcome setbacks. Resilience is essential for Gen Z to thrive in a complex and unpredictable world. And the second quality I want in children, that is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, especially those who are different from one's. And the third one, creativity, the ability to generate original and valuable ideas, solutions, and products. Creativity is vital for Gen Z to innovate, solve problems, and express themselves in a competitive world. Next, finally, I want to say about integrity, the quality of being honest, ethical, and consistent in one's actions and words. Integrity is important for Gen Z to establish trust, credibility, and accountability in a world where information is abundant but not always reliable. So parents play a significant role in imparting these values in children.
Wonderful response, sir, for the question that I've asked. The key points that you really made it evident for all of us is resilience, empathy, creativity, and integrity. And it's really important for our students to have these values instilled in them. So, Mr. Dhanraj, being a software professional, this is a question to you. How have societal and technological changes impacted the values that are relevant to Gen Z today?
Thanks, ma'am. The impact of societal and technological changes on the learning of Gen Z kids is multifaceted. On one hand, technology offers vast educational resources, interactive learning, platforms, and global connectivity, enhancing their access to information. On the other hand, the constant digital stimuli may lead to shorter attention spans and difficulties in focusing. Balancing these influences is very crucial. Educators like us, parents and teachers, can leverage technology for engaging lessons while also emphasizing mindfulness practices to improve concentration, critical thinking, and emotional well-being, ultimately fostering a holistic approach to learning that combines technological tools with mindfulness techniques can help Gen Z kids navigate their educations more effectively.
Absolutely right. what you said. It's about the shorter span of attention that we are facing every day in the classroom. And very rightly given your opinion that we need to work on the mindfulness about children. And as parents and educators, we need to work on their holistic development. So we really need to work on their critical thinking skills, keeping in mind this technology where huge amount of information is available, and as schools we are not just going to provide the information, but of course yes, we are going to ensure children are using that information in the right way. That's what we are looking forward. Very nice, well said, sir. So we as educators and parents have to ponder upon these points. So Jimmy sir, I know you have a very long connect with us, with our school. So keeping in mind those things, you have seen how our schools have been doing the different events at school, with traditional event, with the latest new thought process and all. So keeping in mind those things, this question was framed for you. So if you can answer me these questions, are there any potential conflicts between traditional values and the evolving needs of Gen Z kids? And how can these conflicts be navigated? So if you can get some insight from you on this, so that would be a great thing for us to take it from you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah, there were potential conflicts between traditional values from ages to till today. This includes the family, economic, social, and religion, as well as behavior pattern. A desire for political power, a struggle for resources, and economic competition. Gen Z are known for working, shopping, dating, and making friends online or connected to social media. Now it's one of the largest group of passionate. Yes, we can navigate these by spending time with them and avoiding mobiles and stopping violence. Uh, yes, by this we can help Gen Z kids navigate education and more effectively.
So with this same question, I want to ask Srinivas, and I want you to put a little light on this, specifically being from an HR background. These are the traditional values and the latest things that's coming as a conflict. What I'm getting to see, people are not staying in one company for a long time. It's the same case with the schools also, with the corporates also, that employees are moving around. So I heard in one of the interview from Narayan Murthy, Infosys head, he was telling about the moonlight concept. I was not aware about it, but he was telling that one person working for 2 to 3 companies same time. So somewhere a question of loyalty is coming there. But it's a kind of conflict that is coming up, I felt, about loyalty towards the organization and all. So how do you think we can navigate this? Because when I speak to children, they say I want to work for this, I want to work for this, I want to work for this. They also speak those languages for me. So I understand that this can be a conflict in the future. So how do you think as a HR this works out, and how do you think we can address this?
Relevant question, because in today's time, I think this is one question that is pondering everyone. Let me give my prospect here, because I've been seeing this for quite some time. Today's Gen Z students or kids, they are sorted for their basic needs. They don't need to worry about their education, or they don't have to worry about their basics. Wherein we, coming from the generation which was past, I think sir will also agree on that we had to struggle for that. We had to struggle for our food, we had to struggle for our education, we had to struggle for our good life. So I think today what this generation is it is sorted in all those things. Now it is all about creating and making their life better. So that is why this whole concept of moonlighting is coming. Do multiple jobs, earn better, aspire to look at some aspects of life which very few people do it. So look at that as an inspiration and reach that. That is the main reason why a lot of people are looking at moonlighting or these aspects of values where traditional and today's values are getting clashed. But yes, just to add to what you're trying to inculcate through this discussion is, I feel most of the time it is all about communication. It's more about the two-way communication that we want to have with the kids or with the Gen Z guys. If I have to categorize these, I might want to make them understand what is communication and what is effective communication. There's a big difference between what is communication and effective communication. Communication can be anything. You just try to tell them, they absorb it. What is effective communication is whether that communication is put in practice or not, whether you are able to tell it effectively and create an impact onto these kids is more important. The second is knowing the authority and the hierarchy. Because while we were growing, we understood this very much. This was fed with so much of precision that today we are what today. Like we value our parents, we value our relatives, we value everyone. So today's millennial kids or the Gen Z kids that we are talking about lack this. To a certain extent, we are also responsible because we've been mechanical through our life and we have created the void. The third quality that I would say is use of technology. Yeah, as rightly said by sir, today they use technology for everything. I think that dependency on technology should come down. That's the only way that we can create this, bridge that gap between traditional thinking and what we are trying to think. And the fourth most important thing that I always feel is teach them about family and relationships. I think this is one, as a nation which has been there in the limelight for family and relationships, a country which has taught the world how to have a family and what are the relationships, what is the significance of each and every relationship. Today, to a certain extent, I feel with nuclear families, that phase of family and relationships is lost. I want my kids to be taught what is family, what is a relationship, what is an extended family, what kind of value or ecosystem they get into, what they teach us. That's very important for me. And from the school point of view also, I'm sure that Sloka is doing great there. Quite a few initiatives in those aspects. But I'm sure that, as you were trying to say in the conversation, it's every bit's piece of job. It's not just one. I can't say that it is just the school's job. I can't say it is just the parenting job. It's everyone's collaborative effort that we can make sure that this bridge of communication between the traditional thinking and the Gen Z's thinking will come, and we can bridge that gap.
Thank you so much, Srinivas sir. It was a momentum points that you have given to me, and it's very important. I take 2 points from your inputs. One is effective and communication and a normal communication, which is very important, I feel. And second is about valuing relationship, building that family thing. And we are right now in a nuclear family. And of course, yes, Sloka has taken up some initiative in this. And I'll tell you a few experiences last time what we had got. We do Grandparents' Day. And I see grandparents having tears in their eyes, because generally we make a process, our children have to respect them, touch their feet, do the flowering ceremony for them. They really get emotional and they say we hardly find any schools doing. So I feel proud and happy that Sloka is doing that bonding between the children and the grandchildren. And I hear from parents also talking about it, that we never thought our parents are waiting for this, and they literally cry and there are goosebumps. Even if I speak now, I get goosebumps about it. So something we are trying to do on these aspects. And of course, yes, with this point, I want to connect Madhav Reddy with the next question. So it's a very important question. Especially as a principal, I want to know what's the parents' perspective on this, because sometimes I get to experience that parenting is expected in school. So I get a little confused what have to be done on that. So my question to you is, what role do parents play in imparting values to Gen Z, and how can they effectively do so in a rapidly changing world?
Yeah, ma'am. You have asked a nice question again, and I want to tell about things that are very important for parents to instill the values in their children. Now, parents play a significant role in imparting the values in Gen Z children, kids, you may say. So, they are the important ones who can inculcate such values in the children. Then, I want to say three things from which parents can instill these values in children. They are first, communicating is the first thing, and secondly, I want to say demonstrating and encouraging their kids. So let us come to first point, communicating. See, communication is very important with children, both at home, at school. When we are talking about parents, especially at home, they need to communicate with their children, because these days parents are becoming so busy. Even children are busy with their gadgets, electronic gadgets. They have not at all communication among family members. So I want to say that yes, parents, being a parent, you must dedicate some time to children so that they can listen to parents and they can learn something from their parents respectively. And when it comes to what we call demonstrating, so demonstrating, as the Sir previously said, suppose you want to say something or you want to teach your children something, there is a saying, whatever you preach, you have to practice it first. Okay. So when you try to teach your children, you have to demonstrate such things. As I said, you want your children to be mindful of screen time. So it is the responsibility of the parent to be mindful of the screen time first, so that the children observe the parent and they do the same thing. So it is very important. And taking children to external environment, because nowadays most of the children, they are not being exposed to external environment, like spending their precious time in the nature. See, watching nature, especially green and blue, they give a lot of peace of mind to children. But these days what is happening, children are not getting exposed to these things. They are just between the four walls of the classroom, or else at home they are very busy with their electronic gadgets, what you say, they are equipped with. So I mean to say that yes, children should be exposed to nature, especially they want to see the chirping of birds, that distant singing of robins, whatever, so that they can see and inculcate such aesthetic values in them. Then thirdly, I want to say encouraging. So whenever a child performs or demonstrates something in studies or at home, we need to encourage them. We need to praise them for their beautiful work. If such encouraging words, even it will insist the children to do more better in their studies as well as academics, as well as in their personal life. And the parents can also praise their children's efforts, achievements and strengths and help them overcome their challenges in their personal life. So I want to conclude that with these three things, especially communicating and demonstrating and finally encouraging their children, will lead to a positive environment, and children will grow up, especially these Gen Z kids will grow up in a nourishing manner.
Great to hear about this 3 points from you, sir, and I really would like to take up these 2 points, and I want all of us to take it as a very important aspect from parenting side. The first point is about effective communications and having a communication with the children. So we generally at school quite often tell the parents in the PTM, so please talk to your children, spend some time to know what is happening. This is very important and very right point you brought it to our notice, sir, that we need to talk to them, let it be in school or let it be at home. Even at school also, we feel the gap that when we don't allow them to communicate, they become rebellious. So we generally make these students speak up in the letters, through suggestion box. We go and talk to the children about how things going on. They just have freedom to talk to us in the school. So similarly, it is very important back at home. Children should be given a chance to talk to their parents. And second point which you spoke about, preaching what you want them to practice it. So, and in that very key point, you said me one thing that was about mindful role that we have to play. So you brought a note to our notice that if we are wanting children to have a screen time, first we should have a screen time limitation. That was a great point, and I think it's a reflective point for us. So we are telling children are using so much of mobile phone, but how much are we using? So I get to hear that students speak about it, that you are telling us not to use gadgets, but at home every adult is using the gadget. So it's something very important for all of us to ponder upon that point. We really have to think about it. And the third aspect which you brought to our notice, and definitely we all should take this point seriously, that in this digital era going to nature is important, and if we are not connected with the nature, we lose the connect with our children. So very beautifully you brought out that blue and greens are very important. So I remember one of the homework that was given to children in summer holidays, but I could see hardly 30% of the parents given response to that. We had sent some WhatsApp to the parents. So please go out for a nature walk or evening walk, just take a selfie and send us. So we wanted to use that digital and the environment, but hardly 30% of them gave the response on that. That's something which we have to really ponder upon, that, sir. And I would definitely take these 3 points from your side, and I would recommend every parent to reflect on these areas, that we have to really work with our children, and definitely we will see a beautiful children and growing into a wonderful adults in future. Thank you so much. Back again to you, Mr. Dhanraj. I would like to put a question to you, which is always a question to me also. How much should I allow children to use the digital aspect of it in their learning? So the question from my side to you is, as technology continues to advance, how do we balance the use of technology, digital citizenship and online safety with responsibility? I want you to shed light on what is the role of a parent and what's the role of a school, can take it up a little bit on that side also.
Yeah, it's a challenging question again. How do we balance? Especially when it comes to this evolving technologies that are coming into our face, and the Gen Z kids and how they adapt to it. Especially when I talk about it, balancing responsible technology use, digital citizenship and online safety in the face of advancing technology involves a multifaceted approach. Education plays a central role, teaching individuals, especially the younger generation, about ethical online behavior, how they ethically use the online content. Privacy protection, how do we protect our privacy? You know, the content is out in the world, and we should be more strict towards, you know, how we have to critically think on to safeguard this, you know, the privacy content that we have it, and which is not displayed to the world. And to that matter, I mean, encouraging open dialogues about the potential risks and benefits can foster awareness to the kids. And when it comes to the institutions, institutional support is vital to help with the schools, governments and technology companies collaborating to develop and enforce, you know, policies that prioritize user safety and data protection, mainly when it comes to the critical data. In our software world we call it as a PII, you know, personal data. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on, and the teaching team, they should support, like from the institutions, on how what is the extent of the data that they can protect. Technology tools like parental controls, content filters, and, you know, privacy settings should be readily available and user friendly. And promoting mindfulness, like we have spoken earlier, and self-regulations can help individuals develop healthy tech habits, such as setting boundaries from screen time. Like the kids, they have tabs nowadays, phones, they keep on watching them, like VR sets, like, you know, all this new you know, toys that they call it as digital toys, and they are more of adaptive, and they are more into that, playing games and all this stuff. So they should, where we have to restrict them to use this, they can use it for the right technology and right learning, but not for all the games and stuff. So that is something that we have to keep an eye on. and regularly taking breaks to engage in offline activities like taking them out, making sure that they know the external world. Do some workshops with the kids, like probably they can build a small birdhouse for them. So such kind of physical activities, not like just the games and stuff, but promoting activities like the skill wise, how you want to do that and what we want to do. So that can be explored and taught to the kid. And additionally, initiatives to enhance media literacy and empower people to discern credible information from misinformation. So we take the actual content, good information, from the misinformation that should not be used, and navigate the digital landscape more responsibly. Ultimately, a balanced approach involves a collective effort from individuals, families, for us, parents, educators, policymakers who actually deal with these policies that has to come into the security and the content, digital content that is displayed, and the tech industry that plays a major role because they are the ones who are the leaders in this, to ensure that the benefits of advancing technology are maximized while safeguarding users' well-being and ethical values.
Great to hear from you, Mr. Dhanraj. The major points which you spoke about, which is important, I feel, and I would take it back from this session with you, is that the top points what you spoke about is about the screen time, knowing about the parental control. These are the things which we as parents are less educated about that. So the points that you shared, the tech companies who should take the responsibility, the parents who should take the responsibility, and educating the children what it is. We should be openly discussing on the points. This is very, very key factors, I would say, from that perspective. To make it a balance, again, yes, of course, the awareness is less in all these three stakeholders. So we should bring out these awareness among people. So definitely I would take your points, and wonderfully we would say that we would try to implement in our school. To an extent, we have done sessions with the children about the cyber security. Which is also from CBSE as well. They have initiated on these aspects that you have to educate children about this cyber security, teach them what are the important sites and what are the rules and regulations, what they should do it. But one aspect is there which I really want to take the top point of your discussion in further points, where we educate the parents about this, because many parents are not aware about the parental control in the mobile that they are having it. So they are not aware which apps are right. They think YouTube is okay for them, but YouTube is not okay for kids. There is a kids YouTube channel. There, Google is not okay for kids. There is another platform where children can research about it. So definitely as parents we should educate them, and I would really take this as a head of the institution, that we educate the parents on this. So probably it's a very good point that you have brought into the limelight, that we have to know about these areas, and definitely I will ensure this session is done with our parents. What are the parental control apps, what is that they can take it up, and especially the screen time is very important for all of us. So screen time in the sense like making sure parents are assertive about their time setup given to use the technology. And one side I would also take it up, and responsibility of school, that we as educators should be giving them a limited resources, research in a defined way, in a structured manner for students to approach on those things. And of course, yes, we would take forward in terms of making sure more of a practical learning. Very beautiful example you gave was about the bird nest. It can be a simple silly thing, just a walk out of the house, take up things and make a bird nest for birds around you. That makes an engagement of a child and the parent, which we time and again forget, because in our days, like, our parents have fed us food showing that there is a bird, showing that there is an animal. So that's what the parents were doing. But what we are doing, the child is not eating, we are just giving an mobile gadget over there, so that when the child is involved into that, we are feeling okay, they'll sit quietly and they eat. So we have to shift our mindset on that aspect, and I think these are the key points for us to take it forward in this scenario. It's not just giving the gadgets, but knowing how to use the gadgets is important. So, and apart from that, I would say, being a software professional, if you can take to your world that these apps and gadgets and everything can be child friendly, that they can promote more on that, they can educate people more on that from the perspective of child, is very important. If we can look forward for that from your community of software professionals who can think about safety of our children also. So thank you so much for giving your insight on this. It was really wonderful to hear about it, and of course, as parent community, we would definitely take your points about having a screen time, making sure practical experience we give it to our children. These are the key points that I would take it forward, and I would request all the parents also take these points for yourself, and we will definitely see a better change in our children with a balanced approach with the technology and being human also, because we cannot give away anyone. So we cannot be in an obsolete session era also, nor we cannot go completely digital technology and forget the balance between these both. So that's something nice that we have taken from your session. Thank you for being with us. We were talking about the effective communication, the time we have to spend with the parents talking and children talking to each other. But I see something different here, and I want Ms. Radhika to put a light on this. So I have a question in my mind on this. With the rise of digital communication, how can we ensure that values like empathy, respect and effective communications are not lost? In today's scenario, we are not having a face-to-face talk, but we are having more on WhatsApp chat. So we are there in the family, everybody will be there on a Sunday, but most of the time we'll spend on chats. So there's less of physical interaction. So how do you think we can instill these values and work on these things from your side? You can share your inputs on this.
As you said right away, in my opinion, there will be some lagging between the children and the family, not only the family, with the peer groups, friends, educations and everywhere. I think these values, as you said, empathy, there is one famous saying that put yourself in somebody's shoes. So in earlier centuries, we were used to be empathize with others and all, but nowadays it's not finding out. I think the major problem or cause of this kind of not giving that effective communication is, its major core is relationship. These all are interlinked. As you said, empathy. If empathy, in the sense there should be a relationship with others, not only with the family members. For example, in peer groups, if in school, for example, we can take it off. If somebody should dare to listen others' problem, then only there will be some empathize, and they can work together, and they will involve others emotions, and they will pick up some of the other ideas to make others feel safe. But that is not happening nowadays because the lack of relationship, I can say. This all we are talking about core values. These core values all are interrelated with relationship. Honesty. So honesty, as Mr. Srinivas said, that authenticity, that mental wellness and continuous learning, these all are interlinked with the relationship. If relationship, the bonding between the human beings is very strong, these all will come automatically. So that's what my opinion is. So we said that self-learning, this continuous learning, this is a process. So there are two types of motivations which is required for now. One is extrinsic motivation and one is intrinsic motivations. Extrinsic motivations is based on reward systems or some achievements, but intrinsic motivation is self-motivated. So if we need to get self-motivated to do something, that is a better way to go in a great extent. So there the major role of education system and parents is required, and it is not just for reward or for certifications. We should not get motivated. We have to be self-motivated. So the main thing what we can do is, it should be a routine in your life. Whatever the thing you are doing, it should be a routine. So routine we will not forget anyhow. because while we are brushing the teeth and taking bath and cleanliness and everything, that we will not forget ever. We don't want some other guys to be motivated, right? So self motivation is required. So everything is interlinked. What I am trying to say is everything is interlinked with the relationship. So if relationship is the bond is very good, very strong, these core values will automatically we can inculcate in our younger generations.
Great to hear from you, Radhika, about these points where you are making a centralized aspect on the relationship. And obviously, when we are talking about empathy, respect, effective communication, if relationship and bonding is strong, definitely all these things can go on. And I would connect these points very much to my heart, that if relationships are not there, the bond is not there, so we really cannot empathize with anybody, we really cannot have respect for others, we really cannot make our communication an effective communication. So I take this point and I want all the parents to look into it, that how we can develop the bonding with our children in this busy schedule, how we can work with our children to give some time to play with them, to talk to them, to know their feelings. These are important things, and being mindful about what we are doing and making sure that children are understanding us and we understand from their perspective. So being digital citizens, these are the Gen Zs are digital citizens. At the same time, we have to ensure that how we can keep a role model of building good relationships. So the relationship should be quite healthy enough to have any of these things. So that's a very nice takeaway I'm taking up, and I would recommend all the parents to ponder on these points and take up some steps from your side, what you can do to build relationship with your children. It's important we spend some time with them, and definitely we'll see a beautiful bonding growing between us. So that's nice what you have shared it with us, Radhika. I would definitely look forward all of us can work on these points. Thank you. Knowing that relationships are most important, human beings have evolved with the societies which is built on relationship. So keeping in mind these points, I have a next question to Mr. Jimmy John. So we have discussed a lot of things, sir, from quite some time with different panel members on different perspective about instilling values and all. So this is a question to you from my side as an institution. So are there any successful case studies or best practices where parents and schools have effectively collaborated to instill positive values in Gen Z? So we want to see that how we can look forward to ensure we instill positive values with the students in collaboration with parents and school together. So if you have some experience on that, you have some case studies, please share with us.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm happy to say it's Sloka is the example to say these. They are trying to help them by conducting Olympiad exams and other competitive programs, and they are involving parents in the activities. Gen Z grew up with the technology at their fingertips, and it has become an integral part of their identities. Gen Z students are used to constantly updated news feeds and have come to accept only the most relevant information. Gen Z is known for being a resourceful, independent learner, and Gen Z tends to be more progressive and previous generations. Thank you.
I wanted to hear that, sir, that you have given the example of Sloka, that we are doing the best practices collaboratively with parents. That's great to hear, but we would look forward more to do more with the parents to see the best results of the children. The motto of a school is not only to give the best education, that's the bookish knowledge and the skills, but it's also more about the character development. So we believe that children with the right character, with the right values, they grow up as a global citizens who we can feel proud about it. The future is in our hand, so we need to shape them up. Thank you for being with us, and we are going to ensure that as a school we will always collaborate with you as a parent fraternity to grow up the children who are with the values and ethics, and then work with their skills and knowledge. So that's how we build up a good human being for this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Now, this question is for my audience. How can we address the potential generation gap between parents, teachers, and the Gen Z? Discussing values and their importance. Please post your answers by commenting in our channel. Voices united, vision ignited, and shaping tomorrow together. That's Coffee with Sloka. Thank you.